Firstly, I'd like to welcome Mr. Abhinav Bindra here today. I think for everything that we can thank you for getting us the Olympic gold medal. I'd personally like to thank you for something much more, which is to introduce sports to this country. We've never really known anything beyond cricket till a few years till you actually made us open our eyes to sports. And I think that is the opportunity. I think so. The gold medal has given us, with you, an opportunity to look at sports at a much larger level. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for giving this opportunity to India. And I think so flavorful considering that opportunity India is the theme of our show. So as an editor, I'm always curious to know more about people, and I think Abhinav Bindra has certainly, made us all think as Indians what we are probably not doing enough. And with sports and business being so akin to each other, I think we'd really like to take your mind, Abhinav, to understand your journey and also how sports and what sports can teach a business owner, and also to tell the youth to look at sports either as a business opportunity or as an athlete or as a sports person in the coming years. So we'll start with understanding, how you started in shooting. I mean, you were fairly young when you really started, and what got you going into it, and further on, what actually made you go all the way to the Olympics?
Well, it started with a very, very small thought. I started when I was maybe 12 years old, and at that time in my life I hated sport. I hated any kind of physical activity. But my father always inspired me to pick up some sport. He always pushed me towards sport. So one day, and at that time I was really fat. I was an overweight kid, and at age 12 or 13 I tried a lot of sports, but I hated all of them. Until I was introduced to a shooting coach. So I went shooting the first day, and to succeed in shooting you had to stand still and not move. So that was the first reason why I actually got into the sport of shooting. But after that, of course, I went to it. I liked what it was all about, and that gave birth to a passionate dream. I wanted to go to the Olympic Games. I saw the Olympic Games on television for the first time in '92, the first time, and then more clearly in 1996, and the whole Olympic movement really inspired me. And although as a 13-year-old, I set a goal to win an Olympic gold medal. It was an unrealistic goal at that moment, but I was passionate about it, I was driven about it, and really from the first day I went to train, I was hooked onto this dream, and I became obsessed about the whole drive to achieve Olympic glory, and that was the start.
And you're completely right. Sometimes even as entrepreneurs we set goals which are unrealistic, but when we go out to achieve them, that's how it happens. We get somewhere with them. So there's a lot of learning for us as entrepreneurs from your journey. So tell us about your journey of actually now getting to love the sport, to winning the Olympic gold. And once you had won that Olympic gold, what really made you go back to fight again, to go back and compete once again in Olympics?
That's a good question. I think, as an athlete you lose more than you win. And of course, dealing with loss and defeat is really hard. It's very difficult. But at times, even winning is really hard. And I set up a goal to win an Olympic gold medal, and for 15 or 16 years of my life until that day, I woke up every morning with this goal to go out there and train and to pursue my Olympic dream and to win a gold medal at the Olympic Games. And then one fine day, I had this gold medal in my pocket. And then the next day, I really didn't know, I was all dressed, but I didn't know what to do. But so it was a very difficult time for me personally. But over time, I realized that this was something I was very passionate about. And at the end of the day, it's all about human excellence. It's all about bettering your own self, day in and day out. And I post my win at the Olympic Games, the real driving factor, the real driving force was to better my own performance and to better my own skill and to better myself as an individual in that field. And that's what. So that the potential is endless. I mean, I won the gold medal at Beijing, but I can list 50 things I did wrong on that particular day. But over a period of time, you just try to better your own self, and try and better your own performance, and that's that's an incredible drive that I had, and that's an incredible journey into a pursuit of excellence. And I think that got me back into the sport of shooting, and I said that I could do better. Post Beijing, there was a big thought in my mind that I wanted to leave shooting and move on to something else, but it just got me back. The truth is, I went on a meditation course, on the Vipassana course for 10 days where you don't speak and you try and introspect. And my goal of going there was to try and introspect on what I should do with my life and what I can do to move ahead. And for those 10 days in silent retreat, I only thought about shooting, so that was a sign that forced me to get back.
That sometimes takes a lot, so winning also takes a lot really out of you in that respect. But I think, how do you then tell yourself that I want to go back to it again, I want to go back and win again?
Well, it's, the risk is small. There's a big amount of risk. You're at the top and everybody wants to remain at the top. But the real truth is that you can't remain at the top all the time. And, I climbed a mountain and I wanted, the human mind, is sometimes lazy and you just want to jump from peak to peak. But the truth is that when you climb a mountain, you have to go down again and try and climb the next mountain again. So it's a process that one has to set into play. But it was just the passion for the sport, it was passion for what I was doing, and the love for I really loved the whole process of shooting, and that really drove me back. And I wasn't scared to lose, I wasn't scared to take the risk of, I competed in 2 Olympic Games post that, and I came back home without a medal. That was secondary, it didn't really matter to me. As long as I put my best foot forward and did my very best on every single day in terms of preparation, that was for me the most important thing. The process was more important than the outcome.
Brilliant. You also authored a book which is a shorted history. I happened to read the book and I loved it, and I can tell you that what I really liked the most was when you said that sporting self-fulfillment is a lonely journey, but not one that you should be done alone. So what are your thoughts on the needs for building a partnership, even if it's an individual sport? How do you build partnerships to win?
I think, shooting probably is the most individualistic sport and the most private sport played in public. But even though it is so individual, it requires a team, and I had a big team around me which drove me. I worked with a shooting coach, several shooting coaches in fact. I worked with sports medicine doctors, I worked with physiotherapists, I worked with psychologists. So I had a full team guiding me and ensuring that I was on the right track. So even though it is a very, very individual sport, it required a team effort to get where I reached, and it was in a way a very important team effort. There were moments I had people on my team, several people on my team who I never got along with. In fact, one of my consultant coaches I really hated, and I still hate him today. But he brought something to the table. The important thing was he brought something to the table. It was something that I did not want to hear, but it was something which was important. So I carried him along, and I think that is something which happens in life quite often as well. And I'm sure in the world of business as well, you have to deal with people and work with people who you might not like on a personal level, but they're very good at what they do. And so even in my journey on the sporting field, I had people, I paid a lot of money to and at the end of the day make me angry and cry, but I still took them along because at the end of the day, in the long run, they brought something to me which definitely helped me get better.
Shooting is one game, I think. Maybe other games give you still some scope of losing focus, but shooting just does not. It's a game of focus. So how do you continue to maintain and work on that focus? How do you tell yourself every day, doing 12 hours of training, that focus is one thing I'm going to be able to not get myself out? Interestingly, I think it applies both for sports as well as for business, that when you started, when you're young and you have all the right passion, there is enough focus you can build. But to rebuild that focus, when it starts tiring you, how do you do that?
The important thing in sport, yesterday never comes. And, you're as good as what you're on this particular day. So, yeah, I think there is no shortcut to success. There is no shortcut to remain focused. You have to go out there and do it. And, pick yourself and get going on a daily basis. At the end of it, it all boils down to how badly you want it, how desperately do you want to succeed. I think if you really want it badly, deep within from yourself, you find a way. You find a way to wake up every morning, and you find a way to push yourself to get better. You find a way to focus on a daily basis. Forget about yesterday, forget about the good things that happened yesterday, forget about the bad things that happened yesterday, and try to be better today. And that's what I try to do. It's not easy for sure, but unfortunately nothing is easy.
And so let's take your example on a very hard day when the focus was not coming. So what was it that you did to get the focus back?
Again, a good question. A lot of people would say that when you're having a bad day, just move away from it and take a break and do something else. Whenever I was having a bad day, I would get back at the shooting range and work maybe 5 hours more. Even at the Rio Olympics, when I was having difficulties in training and I was in good shape, if things were not going well in training, if I wanted them to get going, I went back to the shooting range to train. I remember one day I was sitting on the bus to go back to the Olympic Village, and I heard that there was a possibility to train for 20 minutes more in the afternoon. So I ran out of the bus and I went back to training. So the only way is to get back, try and, for me personally, I just went back and trained more, trained harder, because at the end of the day, you want to sleep well at night, and there are two ways you can sleep well. Either you have a good day and then you sleep peacefully, or the second way is you tire yourself out completely and you go to sleep. So.
Now, interestingly, Abhinav, you went into a sport, but you come from a family of business people. Your father is a businessman, and today you have, when you went to sport, Olympic as a professional sport, shooting as a professional sport, and you want to be an entrepreneur. What similarities do you see between sport and business? When you've grown up, what similarities have you discovered that sports was very close to business and vice versa?
I think the biggest similarity is that there is only one guarantee, and that guarantee is no guarantee for any success. That's the bottom line. But end of the day, I think in both worlds, you have to try and put processes in place. You have to follow a path. You have to put structures in place which would enhance your chances to succeed. That's what I try to do in the world of sport, and that's what I try to do in my daily work and in business. And I think it's pretty similar, because you need to put the right teams in place. You need to put the right people on the right places, and you need to have the right process, and you need to believe in that process. You need to monitor that process, try and improve that process. But end of the day, you have to remain committed to that process and to a certain structure. I think structure is something which is very, very important to anything, and I think that to me that is the biggest similarity between high performance in sport and in business. I think I led a very regimented life in the world of sport, but it had a lot of structure, and it had a lot of structure which required also a lot of flexibility, because things keep changing and it's a dynamic process. That is something very similar in business, because you face challenges, you have unforeseen scenarios that come into play which you haven't foreseen, and you have to try and solve them. So it is flexibility which is important. I think to have a good process in place and to have the right structures in place, I think is something which is very, very important.
When I was reading your book, I read about how much detailing you go into. So one thing is, of course, that you play the sport and you're very detailed about the sport, but all the factors that could make you a better sports person, whether it is about your fitness or whether it is about, getting into, you almost sound like half a scientist to me with all the experiments that you've done to become better at sports. So what is the urge that you get, and where do you get that energy to do all the detailing to become better in sport? Somebody would think of it as an incidental sort of activity, but it eventually drives you, because you think that in the long run your sport will become better. You'll become a better sports person. So how do you get that energy? How do you get the drive within you to build all the detailing into your sport?
Well, I think no detail ever is too small to ignore. I think even if somebody told me that you would do something and that would improve your chances to success by 0.001% chance, I would do it. At the end of the day, it is a matter of doing a lot of small things right. And a good example is British cycling. British cycling has really succeeded over the last few years. They only work on the 1%. They only work on the 1% improvement at the highest level. So they go into very, very minor detailing. But at the end of the day, it's that 1%, and it's those little details that is the difference between a huge success and not being quite there. So I was always trying to find the edge, trying to find a way to improve further, and it also kept things interesting.
So, now that we're going to start or embark on a journey of an entrepreneur, and you've already started your venture, which is Shooting Star LLP, how do you want to help young entrepreneurs? How would you sort of help them, not just in terms of, let's say, capital, but also from your learning, what you can pass on to them, which would help them to become better entrepreneurs?
Well, I think, of course, I like to share my experiences in the world of sport, and there are lots of similarities which can help them. But I think when I look at people and I look at young people, I think the most important part to me is passion. I think you have to be passionate at what you do, and you have to remain. You have to be perseverant. You have to have a lot of perseverance. So, young people want success very quickly, but unfortunately, there is no way to have overnight success unless you win the lotto or something like that. So, I think passion and perseverance are two very key ingredients that I would try and tell them, and I would try and push forward, and I would also like to see from them, because that's the only way you can succeed. You have to be passionate at what you do, remain committed to your dreams and to your goals, and persevere. There will be good times. I can guarantee you that there will be bad times, but during those bad times you have to have that determination and that dedication to keep going and to keep the faith in your dream and in what you believe in, and keep going with honesty and integrity. I think that to me is what I would like to tell them, and that's what I like to see from young people.
Sure. So you've already made a couple of investments already. So what can we expect more in terms of investments and from the businesses that you might want to look at as a Shooting Star?
Well, I'm very, very open to different areas, but again, I look at the individuals. I look at the people behind the business, and I try and look at what their ideology is, and how committed they are to what they do, and how specialized in that field they are. To have that domain knowledge, I think, is something which is very, very important. More than anything, it's that passion and that integrity and that honesty towards working hard. I think that to me is very, very important. That is if you have that, you will succeed, and that's what I look for.